Welcome. Today I'm going to do a very short tutorial on how to enter data into Matlab. We use Matlab in this course for two reasons. One is that it's an excellent um, system for doing matrix algebra, and almost all of the routines that you'll use in any statistics course will be linear algebra. Second, most engineering students already have access to Matlab and don't have to buy a special statistical package just for this class. And so that saves money and gives more practice in Matlab and makes it a much more useful tool for you. So that's what we emphasize. So let's start by learning how to import data. So I've got an Excel file. Let me come back, sorry. Let me share my screen. That's even better. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And I have an Excel file here. And you can see, I'll just make it a little bigger. That what I've done is I've had a cooling curve. What I did is I had a quote unquote zombie. Okay, and you can see the little zombie here. Okay, a little zombie. And zombies start to wake up. They start out hot, but when they get cool enough after they've died, then they reanimate. And so we've got a very hot zombie here at 65 degrees C or so at the time that we've knocked him off. And what we're doing is we put a couple of temperature probes in this zombie. No, they were not oral thermometers. And we recorded the cooling rate over time. And you can see that there are I put two probes in. The first probe has 300 seconds. That's 5 minutes every 10 seconds. It's taking a temperature reading every 10 seconds. The second probe does the same thing. Every 10 seconds, it takes a temperature reading. And we're using both those probes to better calibrate on what the true relationship between time and temperature might be for this zombie as he cools and gets ready to reanimate. So there's two ways to import data that I suggest in Matlab. The first is what I typically do. I will typically just copy the data. Got 60 data points or so. I just typically copy the data, and that's just highlighting it, doing a Control-C, or going up and editing and hit copy. And then we go to Matlab. And I can go to, if I'm in the Home tab, I can go to New Variable, just click in the upper corner, and then I can paste with a Command or Control-V. Okay, just like any in any word processing program, it's just cut and paste. And so now I have, you can see my entire data set and ready to go. And then I can start looking at these different column vectors, looking at the relationship. I can start to plot it. I can start to compute statistics. So that's one way to do it. I'm just going to name this data so I know what it is, or data one. So that's the first way to do it. Now, the second way to import data is to use a read command. Because this is in Excel, it's an XLSX format. Right here you can see zombie cooling.xlsx, so it's in a Excel format. I can use a command, it's the read command, so I've actually got it in here. And the read command is specified for an Excel spreadsheet. So the read command will read the data in the first worksheet in Excel. So if you notice, my Excel spreadsheet has two worksheets. It has data, which has the first row are the data labels, okay? And the second row, and the second worksheet, bigger, sorry, is the code book. Tells you how things were coded, all right? And so this will not read the second worksheet. It'll only read the first worksheet. It'll create an array for the variable labels, okay? And it will create two column vectors of the actual numeric data. Okay, so let's go back to Matlab. And so I'm going to call the first array labels, okay? And I'm going to call the second array data 2 to distinguish it from data 1, okay? Then it's going to use XLS read, and then the entire file name in single quotes. See how it's highlighted here as some sort of strange fuchsia color? So we have to in single quotes with the file extension on it. So you have to have the entire file name, including the extension, in single parentheses. Okay. I'm suppressing output, so I use a semicolon. So if you put this command in, it will read this file, which is in my Matlab folder. Okay, so it's in the default folder in Matlab. And if I hit enter, you'll see I've got a, did I do the wrong one? I've got, I did it backwards. You'll see that so I have labels, it's actually taking the data. And so let me change that around. I'm gonna just go back and I'm gonna move these around. Okay. So now if I hit return, I get the labels, time and temperature, okay? And then I get the data. Now, once I have the data, I can call out these two column vectors as separate variables. So I can say, let's say the first one is time. Time is equal to data 2, all rows, comma, first column. Okay, remember this is doing matrix algebra, so when we have things in parentheses like this, the first one represents rows, and the colon represents all rows. I'm going to take all the data in every row, and then, but just column 1. So I'm specifying column 1, and I hit enter, and you'll see that time is now a separate column vector. And then I can put temperature. This time specifying column 2, all rows in column 2. And now I have 2 data vectors that then I can start to analyze. I can create a scatter plot. And let's think here, and then somewhere in here, there it is. You can see my 2 data points. You can see the cooling curve and start to analyze it. So it's very easy to import data. Either go to Excel and highlight your data, the actual data. You can't highlight both the string and the numeric data, so you have to highlight the numeric data alone, copy it, and then paste it into a new variable. You can paste it into a new variable, or you can use the XLS read command for Excel spreadsheets. If it was in a comma separated value, you would use a CSV read. So if it was comma separated values or some delimiter, you could use CSV read instead of XLS read, but you still have to have the entire file name in single quotes. So that's how you import data into Matlab. Very easy. So you can use this for your scripts, or you can use it at the command line as you're doing problems or taking quizzes. Take care.